Here's a sort of uncomfortable question that not a lot of people are asking. And I want to phrase the question correctly to open up our discussion. What if Donald Trump doesn't need to finish his term? Now, you might be saying, David, what do you mean if he doesn't need to finish his term? Well, here's what I mean. Not because Trump gets impeached, not because he's voted out. I mean, he's not going to be voted out short of the end of his term. But what I mean is, if everybody around him gets what they want before the end and they are done with Trump, what happens effectively to this presidency? I'm not saying Trump keels over or resigns in disgrace. I'm just saying that those who had things they wanted from Trump, the massive donors who dumped money into his election campaign, like Elon Musk, and the billionaires, the strategists, the think tank guys, the we've got to fight the deep state people, they don't need him around forever. They never did. Because Trump has been a vehicle this entire time, not really the destination. And if we're honest, people like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and whoever else, the Heritage Foundation, none of them ever cared about Trump as a person. They cared about what would Trump let us do and what would Trump do for us, because Trump causes chaos and he distracts the press and he says windmills cause cancer and they go around rewriting laws they don't like or ignoring laws that they don't like, deregulating industries that help their bottom line, stacking courts. And we seem to be in a situation where they are already getting a lot of what they wanted. They've gutted a bunch of environmental rules. They've kneecapped the federal workforce through Doge firings and layoffs. They've got a bunch of judges. Look at the stuff the Supreme Court is considering now, which 10 years ago, a Supreme Court would never have dreamed of. They've defunded watchdogs. They're continuing to move forward on these deportation plans. They created their own Department of Efficiency, which was this Trojan horse for deregulation and data access, which now they've got the data access through 2029, even though Elon's leaving and Doge is dissolving. So the question becomes, what will they continue needing Trump for? Is J.D. Vance a VP or is he a backup plan in a more tangible sort of strategic way? Because when we look at Vance functioning as MAGA with a working memory, he'll sign the same orders. He'll enforce the same policies. He'll carry out the same cruelty without, I guess, the rants and the indictments and the social media meltdowns. Trump brings the cult with him. Vance brings the discipline. And if Trump starts to flail, if he's no longer useful, if he gets too erratic, J.D. Vance is ready. Now, I know that many of you are saying, I'm not really sure that J.D. Vance really is MAGA. I mean, at one point he says Trump is America's Hitler. He said he disagreed with Trump. He was an anti-Trump Republican, right? But the point is, how is he functioning right now? And he has been fully sucked into the MAGA universe. So this is about a transition, which may not necessarily be visible to the public, although it might be, which is that this was never about Trump. And once they get everything they need, it's not 2016, it's not 2020. Trumpism isn't a person anymore. It's a system. And the movement really doesn't need Trump to govern anymore. They needed him to break the doors open, and he did it. And so where we find ourselves today is with the real power players operating behind the scenes. They've got their loyalists, they've rewritten their rules, they've drained federal agencies of people who can push back. And the second that Trump truly becomes inconvenient, this is not 2019 where he's probably running for re-election. The party, the system rather, can run without Donald Trump. The real danger is that he doesn't have to be there for this thing to keep moving. And that should actually terrify us, because there's two ways to interpret this. On the one hand, lame duck Trump, no longer of use to people once he gets his primary means of destruction done. They don't care about Trump. They'll dump him. Okay, we could say, well, that's good. There's a different perspective, which is that's actually really bad, because what used to be, I mean, listen, if you looked at what was MAGA Trumpism during the 2016 primary, it wasn't very much. It was Trump. And if Trump had gotten knocked out of the 2016 Republican primary, MAGA Trumpism is dead because it was just one person. It grew and grew and grew into this cult of personality and more of a literal cult over time. It is now such that you have the acolytes, you have the Kash Patels and the Charlie Kirks and the fill in the blanks, right? And so in a sense, the fact that they don't really care that much about Trump, the insiders, should be terrifying because it means that MAGA Trumpism has become a system that is bigger than the man. It's a machine at this point. And if Trump flames out, if the machine operator flames out halfway through, it's not a problem because they've got the blueprint. The people they want in power are in power. And losing Trump could even make the movement more dangerous because the next guy probably won't be as distracted as Trump, probably won't be as feeble and diminished as Trump, probably won't be obsessed with toilets and water pressure. He or she, probably he, would just get it done. So the question I leave you with, again, is kind of where we started. What if they don't really need Trump for the full term? Let me know what you think. Did you know that countless commercial databases and people search sites are storing your personal information? Anyone, from an employer to a former partner, can use these platforms to get details about your online presence, your home address, phone number, email, license plate, family members, financial information, even political views. Europe has laws that offer some protection, but in the US, the data is widely accessible. Even the FBI will buy this information from companies to spy on people without a search warrant. Our sponsor, Incogni, provides a solution. It takes just seconds to sign up, and Incogni will send removal requests to all of the major data brokers, legally compelling them to get rid of your data. Incogni keeps you informed throughout the process. You'll get real-time updates, who has complied, which ones are still pending. They'll handle follow-ups, they'll handle appeals on your behalf, and this will save you hundreds of hours. Very few people have the time or resources to do this on their own. This service can also reduce the number of spam calls and emails you get, since many solicitors and scammers get your information from these very same sources. Go to incogni.com/Pacman and use the code Pacman for 60% off. The link is below.